Following the last book, Alex Rider has completed his mission in outer space. He crash lands in Australia. So the Australian spies grab him and they're forcing him to do a mission. So that's like 3 times in 3 books where Alex has been pressed into service by whatever country he's visiting at the time. Is Alex a spy or a hot potato?
Argo Funk Book Review. Argo Funk Book Review.
The evil Scorpio organization is back. They're plotting to kill thousands, maybe tens of thousands of people. Major Winston Yu is in charge of the operation. He kicks things off by breaking into a top-secret government facility and stealing a giant bomb. Just like Book 4, there is no thought given to who is paying Scorpia to commit mass murder. I mean, it's a good thing Alex keeps stopping Scorpia, but until somebody cuts off their funding, they're just gonna keep trying to cause chaos. The Australian spies want to test Alex, making sure he's a spy, but he just crashed in from outer space. After blowing up a spaceship, how is that not proof enough for them? So they test Alex by taking him into an active military zone, where he has to dodge explosions and bullets and an active landmine. That's the scene on the cover. Luckily, Alex is never in any real danger, because there's a beacon hidden in his shoe. Now that the spy masters know Alex the spy is actually a spy, they give him today's mission. Major Yu runs a major criminal organization called the Snakehead. One of the things they do is human smuggling. Alex will pose as an Afghan refugee who is being smuggled into Australia. The only reason Alex agrees is because he'll be working with Ash, his godfather. Ash is a gruff fellow who's literally scarred by his past. Ash and Alex get disguises, which include fake teeth and brown skin dye. The idea of Alex changing his skin color is a little uncomfortable. It brings up some bad racial overtones. Alex is told the skin dye will disappear in about 2 weeks. It will disappear sooner if he takes a bath. I'll come back to this point later. As soon as Alex lands in Bangkok, his cover is blown. And he knows it. He sees a strange man at the airport. He sees the strange man follow him to a hotel. But Alex decides not to mention the strange man to anyone. That's a bad decision for the spy not to mention, oh, by the way, my cover's blown. Alex and Ash have to stay in a grimy place in Chinatown for days until the Snakehead operatives arrive. The leader makes them fake passports and prepares to send them along to Indonesia with one condition. He wants Alex to fight in a boxing match. Like what? I thought the boxing sequence was out of place. Look, I know, Alex can't go 3 chapters without almost dying, nor does he seem capable of going through an entire book without entering a deadly sports competition. But in this case, he's undercover as a mute refugee. Going from that to jumping in the boxing ring just doesn't fit. Alex is put against Sunthorn, a murderous champion. He's so strong that Alex's martial arts experience does nothing to help him. Alex knows the smart move would be to lose on purpose, but I guess he doesn't want to look bad in front of strangers, because he decides to win no matter what. Alex cheats by spitting water into Sunthorn's face as a distraction. Chaos erupts as Alex wins. The power goes out, there's a bunch of gunfire. The entire building explodes and collapses. Alex escapes by crashing through the floor into the river. He stays there for a while because large river rats appear. They start crawling all over him. It's so gross. I wonder why this does not ruin his disguise. Being in a river for a few minutes is not that different from being in a bathtub for a few minutes. The next day, Alex follows the strange man who's been tailing him. It turns out he's a British spy. He's here to find the missing bomb. The spy masters are surprised to see Alex. They give him 3 gadgets: exploding coins, a watch with an emergency signal, and a belt with a hidden knife. Ash and Alex are sent to a toy factory in Jakarta. Ash tells Alex all about his father, since this is their last chance to talk to each other. I was a little confused by this. I understand Ash thinks they can't talk in the factory because it might be bugged, but they just spent a week in a room provided by the Snakehead where they spoke freely. Why didn't he worry about bugs then? In some unfortunate timing, the Indonesian spies attack the factory. They are brutal, and this section is so intense. It's a great action scene where our heroes are caught in the crossfire between spies and the Snakehead. I feel like the author purposely forced Alex to take a stop in Indonesia just so this spy group could make an appearance. Alex and Ash are barely able to escape on a truck. A big part of the escape is the heavy rain that makes it impossible to see. Alex had a phone number written on his arm. The rain washes it away in seconds. That's how heavy this rain is. If the rain is that bad, why didn't it wash off his disguise? It's weird that his disguise, which is not water resistant, survives 2 thorough soakings. Alex is separated from Ash and he's put on board a cargo ship. He and 20 other refugees are hidden in a small secret room. Alex could wait here until they reach Australia. That would successfully accomplish his mission. But that would make for a boring book, so Alex uses his exploding coin to escape. Alex searches the ship. He sees Major Yu setting up fingerprint access to the bomb's controls. Yu is distracted, which gives Alex enough time to register his fingerprints. He gives himself the power to override all of Yu's commands. Now, why did the villains program the bomb so it's easy as possible for our hero to disable it? That seems like a bad idea on their part. It turns out Alex is not as sneaky as he thought. Major Yu has been aware of everything Alex has done for the entire book. He decides to stop playing games at this point. He orders his men to kill Alex on sight. When the ship docks, Alex uses an exploding coin as a diversion. He manages to escape on shore. He calls Ash, but Ash sounds strange. That is, Ash pauses after every sentence, like he's being told what to say. Alex ignores this red flag, just like he ignored the strange man following him earlier. I thought Alex was supposed to be a good spy? Unsurprisingly, this is a trap by Major Yu. He's already captured Ash, and now he's captured Alex. Then he treats Alex to a nice dinner, where he tells his life story and explains all the details of his evil scheme. He's going to use the bomb in a specific spot at a specific time to trigger a tsunami. So now Alex has all the information he needs to stop Major Yu. Thank you for that. Major Yu admits he should shoot Alex right away. Instead, he sends Alex to his illegal organ harvesting operation. This entire segment is super creepy. The book takes its time setting up the characters and the scene. It's 2 chapters before Alex starts his escape. This is in contrast to the boxing arena and toy factory and the harbor. Because Alex was visiting those places for the first time, there's not a whole lot of setup to those escape sequences. Here, he's a hostage for days. I think it's about a week. So he's very familiar with the people and the obstacles that he has to get around. Alex manages to destroy the facility and escape down a river. A helicopter shoots at him, but he escapes by faking his own death and by falling down a waterfall. It's impossible to survive this waterfall, but of course he does it without any injuries. Wow, this kid is lucky. Alex realizes his watch gadget hasn't been working because the battery was removed. He takes the beacon out of his sneakers and uses it as a replacement battery. So now the watch signal is working again, and he's quickly rescued by the British spies. Of course, they have to take Alex along with them when they stop Major Yu. Things immediately go wrong. Ash is shot and reveals he's been a double agent for Scorpia the entire time. Even worse, he's the one who killed Alex's parents. Ash dies. Alex sets off the bomb early, which kills Yu and saves the world. When Alex goes home, he's happy to learn Sabina Pleasure has returned for Christmas. She's even more good looking than she was before. I didn't think that was possible. Hopefully, this time Alex and Sabina can spend time together without one of them almost dying. The end. Post-book follow-up. I didn't like this book as much as the previous one. As a reader, I felt like I was taken out of the story during the boxing sequence and the dinner sequence. We've had similar dinner scenes in a number of previous books. It's almost like it's a rule that every book needs to have the villain casually explain their plan over a meal. It doesn't fit in with the way Yu acts in the other chapters, where he's ruthless, decisive, and angry. Yu has twice ordered his goons to kill Alex immediately, and now he's giving Alex a luxury dinner? I thought that didn't match the story, or his character. The premise of the book is good, going undercover as a refugee to expose human smugglers. It's interesting to see a totally new and different part of the world. The problem is that Alex can't speak the languages here, which really limits what can be done. I thought Ash was an interesting enough character. I didn't see his double cross coming. I do agree with Alex that hearing Ash's story was not worth all the near-death experiences. Overall, I'd say this is a typical spy book. It does a lot of the same things as the other books in the series. The Indonesian spies and the organ harvesting segments are the parts that stood out the most for me. The rest was just sort of generic action stuff. I give Alex Rider number 7, Snakehead, a 5 out of 10.